Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to the English Coffee Talk Show. I'm Eva, and as always, I am so happy you're here with us today. Grab your drink, get comfy, and let's hang out for a little while. And of course, I'm here with my favorite co-host.
James, that's me. Hey everyone, really glad you're joining us. Whether you're on your commute, doing the dishes, or just chilling on the couch, welcome to the show. This is the place where we talk like real people and hopefully help you sound more like a real English speaker too.
Exactly. And today's episode is all about talking about your day, like how to actually describe your daily routine in English without sounding like you're reading straight from a grammar textbook. We've got stories, idioms, phrasal verbs, the whole package. But first, James, how are you doing this morning? Like, actually doing?
Honestly, I'm functioning. That's the best I can say. I had the weirdest dream last night, and I feel like my brain is still kind of processing it. You know that feeling where you wake up and you're like, wait, was that real? Did that just happen?
Oh, no, yes, I totally know that feeling. Okay, but first, coffee. Did you at least get your coffee before you came in today?
Oh, absolutely. Coffee first, everything else second. That is my life motto. I'm a black coffee guy. No sugar, no milk, nothing. Just straight up dark roast. I actually have this little ritual where I grind the beans fresh every single morning. It takes like an extra 5 minutes, but honestly, it makes the whole morning feel intentional, Like I chose to be awake.
You chose to be awake. I love that. Okay, so I am the complete opposite. I need a latte, oat milk, 1 pump of vanilla syrup. It has to be warm, but not scalding hot. And I have this big ceramic mug that my sister gave me. It has a little sun on it. And I will not drink my coffee out of anything else. My coworkers think I'm ridiculous, but I don't care. It just tastes better.
No, I get it. I totally get it. The vessel matters. The mug is part of the experience. And hey, this is actually a great example of small talk, right? Like we just naturally slipped into talking about our coffee routines. And that's exactly how native English speakers break the ice. You don't start a conversation with, "Hello, how is your day progressing?" You start with something real and relatable, like coffee.
Right, right. Break the ice. That's actually a great phrase. It means to start a conversation and make people feel more comfortable and relaxed around each other, like you break through that initial awkwardness. So asking about coffee, the weather, what someone did over the weekend, those are all classic icebreakers. Keep that one in your back pocket. It's super useful. All right, should we get into today's main topic?
Let's do it. So today we're talking about how to describe your day in English. And the goal is to sound natural, like a real person, not like a textbook. Because there's a big difference between how you learn to talk in a classroom and how people actually speak. And Eva, I think the best way to show this is just to tell stories, real stories from our actual lives.
Yes, and along the way, we're going to drop in some really useful idioms and phrasal verbs, the kind that native speakers use every single day. So when you hear them in the story, pay attention. We'll explain each one as we go. James, why don't you go first? Tell us about a crazy day you had recently.
Oh, I've got a good one. So this was maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to start from the very beginning of the day. I was up at the crack of dawn, like we're talking 5:30 in the morning, because I had an early call with a team in a different time zone. My alarm goes off and I just stare at the ceiling for a moment, like, okay, this is happening. Let's go.
Oh, hold on. I love that phrase you just used, at the crack of dawn. Listeners, write that one down. At the crack of dawn means very early in the morning, right when the sun is just starting to rise. The word crack here refers to that first sliver of light breaking through the darkness. So if someone says, "I woke up at the crack of dawn," they mean they woke up super, super early, like unreasonably early. You could say she left for the airport at the crack of dawn. Okay, James, keep going.
Right, exactly. So I'm up at 5:30, I make my coffee, black, fresh ground as required, and I sit down at my desk. And the thing about that morning is I had so much to do that I just immediately hit the ground running. No easing in, no scrolling my phone, no watching videos. The moment I opened my laptop, I was in full work mode, responding to emails, prepping slides, answering messages. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, hit the ground running. That is such a good one. This phrase means to start something quickly and with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Imagine a soldier jumping out of a moving vehicle. They don't stop and look around, they hit the ground and they run. So when you hit the ground running, you start something immediately and with full energy. For example, on her first day of work, she really hit the ground running. It shows a strong, motivated start. Love it. Okay, James, what happened next?
So the morning call goes fine. That was great. But then the day just kind of snowballed. I had back-to-back meetings from 9 until almost 1 in the afternoon, like no breaks. One meeting ends, the next one starts 30 seconds later. I didn't even have time to refill my coffee. And by the third meeting, I'm running on fumes. My brain is basically soup. And someone asks me a question, and I literally go, "Could you repeat that?" 3 times in a row. It was not my finest moment.
Oh no, I've been there. But okay, back to back. Let's break that one down for our listeners. Back to back means one thing happening immediately after another with no gap or break in between, like literally one after the other. So back to back meetings means meeting after meeting with no free time in between. You could also say back-to-back episodes if you're binge-watching a show, or back-to-back wins if your sports team keeps winning. It's a really flexible phrase. Okay, so you survived the back-to-back marathon. Then what?
Barely survived. So by 1 o'clock, I was absolutely starving. I hadn't eaten anything since like 6 in the morning. So I just grabbed a bite real quick. I walked to this little sandwich place around the corner from my office, got a turkey sandwich and a bag of chips. Ate it standing at the counter in about 4 minutes. It wasn't glamorous, but honestly, that sandwich tasted like the greatest thing I had ever eaten in my entire life.
Nothing tastes better than food you eat when you're that hungry. And grabbed a bite, okay, so this is super common in everyday English. To grab a bite, or sometimes grab a bite to eat, means to quickly get something to eat, usually something informal and fast. It's very casual. You wouldn't say this in a super formal setting. You'd say it to a friend, like, "Hey, do you want to grab a bite before the movie?" Or, "I'm going to grab a bite at the cafe. Want to come?" It implies speed and informality. Perfect phrase for daily life.
Exactly. So after lunch, I went back to my desk, and the afternoon was actually really good. I finally got into a flow, like I got in the zone. You know that feeling where you're working and time just disappears? Where everything just clicks and you're focused and productive and it feels almost effortless. That was me from about 2 to 5. I wrote a whole project proposal in one sitting. Didn't check my phone once.
Oh, I love in the zone. This one is so relatable. Being in the zone means you are completely focused, fully concentrated, and performing at your best. Athletes use this phrase a lot, like a basketball player who can't miss a shot. They say they were in the zone. But it works for anything: studying, writing, cooking, even gaming. You might say, "Don't interrupt me right now, I'm really in the zone." Or, "She was totally in the zone during the exam." It's that magical state of deep focus. So good.
And then by about 6 o'clock, I just decided to call it a day. I saved my work, closed my laptop, shut the office light off, and walked home. And the whole walk home, I just felt this huge wave of relief and pride a little bit. Like, okay, that was a crazy day, but I made it through. And the evening was honestly the best part. I ordered some food, put on a show I'd been meaning to watch, and just wound down slowly. Like the stress of the day just kind of melted away. It took about an hour of just existing on the couch before I started to feel like a human being again.
Existing on the couch, I feel that so deeply. And wound down? That's our next phrase. To wind down means to gradually relax and become calm after a busy or stressful time. Think of an old clock. When it winds down, it slows down and eventually stops. So when you wind down in the evening, you're slowly shifting from busy and stressed to calm and relaxed. You might say, "I like to wind down with a book before bed." Or, "After the big presentation, it took me hours to wind down." It's a beautiful, gentle phrase.
And one last thing about that day, at some point in the evening, I finally caught up on all the messages and emails I'd been ignoring during my deep focus session in the afternoon. Like, I went through everything, replied to everything, got myself organized. It felt really good to clear all that out before bed.
Oh, yes, caught up on. To catch up on something means to do something you haven't had time to do recently, so you're getting back to where you should be. So catching up on messages means you finally read and replied to all the messages that had been piling up. You can catch up on sleep, like sleep more to make up for lost rest. You can catch up on a TV series you haven't watched in a while. You can catch up on the news. It's about closing the gap between where you are and where you should be. Really useful phrase.
That was my crazy day. It was a lot, but honestly, looking back, it was a pretty good day. Stressful, yeah, but productive.
All right, so we've covered some fantastic idioms today. Now I want to shift gears to something really important, the difference between how you'd describe your day at work versus how you'd describe it to a friend.
Yes, formal versus informal English. This is huge because a lot of English learners, especially people who've learned from textbooks, they sometimes sound a little too formal even in casual situations. And the opposite can happen too. So let's give some real examples. Ava, you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's say you had a meeting at work. In formal, professional English, the kind you'd use in a report or with your boss, you might say, I attended a meeting with the marketing department. Very clean, very professional. But if you're texting a friend or chatting at lunch, you might say, I sat through a super boring meeting with marketing. See how different that feels? Sat through has this feeling of, ugh, I had to be there. It was painful, but I survived it. Very different vibe.
Sat through is so real. Okay, here's another one. Formal. I liaised with my colleagues to complete the project. Casual. I teamed up with my coworkers to get the project done. Liaised is very official sounding, very corporate. Teamed up sounds human and friendly. Both mean you work together with someone, but the energy is completely different.
One more, and this one's my favorite. Formal. I communicated my concerns to the relevant stakeholders. Casual. I told my boss what was bothering me. Right? Like, relevant stakeholders, that is so corporate. That's the kind of language you'd put in an official email or a memo. But if you said that to a friend at dinner, they would look at you like you were an alien. So always think about your audience and adjust your language.
Relevant stakeholders at the dinner table. The important lesson here for all our listeners is this. Both registers are valuable. You need formal English for professional situations, emails, presentations, meetings with senior staff, and you need casual English for conversations with friends, family, and in relaxed social situations. Knowing which to use and when, that's real fluency. That's what makes you sound natural and culturally aware.
Perfectly said. Okay, let's move into our wrap-up section. James, I want to do a fun little recap of the best stuff from today's episode. Let's go through the idioms and key takeaways together, nice and quick. Fire style.
Let's go. Okay, first one. At the crack of dawn. That means?
Very early in the morning, like barely any sunlight early. Next, hit the ground running.
To start something with a lot of energy and momentum. No warm-up needed. Back to back.
One after another with no break in between. Back-to-back meetings, back-to-back episodes, you get the idea. Grab to bite.
Quickly getting something informal to eat. Simple, fast, casual. In the zone.
Completely focused and performing at your best. That magical state of total concentration. Call it a day.
To stop working and decide you're done for the day. Wind down.
To slowly relax after something busy or stressful, like a clock slowing down. And finally, catch up on and catch up with.
Catch up on something means to do tasks or consume content you've been behind on. Catch up with someone means to reconnect with a person after time apart. Different preposition, different meaning. And the big cultural tip from today is...
Know your audience. Native English speakers switch between formal and informal language all the time depending on who they're talking to and what the situation is. In a professional email, formal. Texting a friend, casual. The more naturally you can do that switch, the more fluent you'll sound. It's not just about knowing words, it's about knowing which words fit the moment. And if you've been listening today and thinking, oh wow, I never knew that, or I'm going to use that, that is exactly why we make this show. For you, to help you feel more confident, more natural, and honestly, just more comfortable with English every single day.
So if you've enjoyed today's episode, here's what we'd love for you to do. First, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your shows. Subscribing means every new episode lands right in your feed automatically. You won't have to go looking for it.
And turn on your notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know when a new episode drops. We put a lot of love into each one, and we never want you to miss out. Second, if you have a moment, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It honestly means the world to us, and it helps other English learners find the show too. Even just a sentence or two, it makes such a big difference.
And finally, do you know someone who's learning English? A friend, a family member, a colleague, a classmate? Share this episode with them. Send them the link. Say, hey, I thought you might enjoy this, because learning a language is so much more fun when you have someone to learn alongside. And honestly, sharing this show might just change your day.
We truly believe that. Okay, before we sign off, James, any final words of wisdom for our listeners today?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple. Don't be afraid to sound imperfect. The most fluent English speakers make mistakes, use filler words, start sentences over, forget words sometimes. All of it. What makes someone sound natural isn't perfection, it's confidence. It's willingness to just jump in and try. So try. Every single day, try. You're doing better than you think.
I love that so much. You are doing better than you think. And we will be right here every episode cheering you on with a warm cup of coffee and a whole lot of English. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It really has felt like the best kind of coffee chat, relaxed, fun, and full of good stuff. Take care of yourselves, keep learning, and we'll see you next time on the English Coffee Talk Show. Bye for now.
See you next time, everyone. Keep the conversation going. Bye.